Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning blog. My name is Melisa Galasso, and today we're going to look at an IFAC report. So we're going to look at the report on private equity investment in accountancy. So we oftentimes talk about this from the perspective of the US, but we are not alone. And so IFAC took this up to take a look at what are some of the things that we need to be considering. So in this document, they talk about the fundamental question for our profession is whether firms who focus on the benefits and opportunities of PE investment while managing the potential challenge and risk will become more resilient, future fit, and more attractive while upholding their public interest responsibility. And so again, when we take a look at PE asset managers, they're making significant investments in professional accountancy firms. And that is not just in the US. We're seeing it in continental Europe. We're seeing it in the UK and the US. So it is a global phenomenon. And there are differences within various localities. But just to give you some perspective on the trends here. So this was, again, an IFAC task force that was created full of volunteers analyzing the data, engaging with stakeholders to have an understanding of PE investments. And so since 2022, the increasing number of engaged firms who have engaged in equity capital have been quite high. So as you can see here from 21 to 22, and then you look at 24 and 25, right? They are very, very high in terms of number of transactions, and they kind of differentiate between direct investment and indirect roll-up types of transactions. But what I thought was most interesting, particularly in this particular report, was the different takeaways that they identified. So in terms of transaction structure, a well-structured administrative service agreement is critical to maintaining an appropriate relationship between private interest and public interest responsibilities, especially around the audit and assurance areas, right? So really making sure that they have these administrative service agreements that are thinking about the importance of quality. Firm leadership has to take responsibility for and ensure that PE investment does not exert undue pressure on the fragile balance between commercial interest and public interest. So again, professionalism, integrity, and public interest being obviously the key thing that has to be maintained. In terms of firm oversight, early engagement with regulators, other oversight bodies, and network peers can help identify issues, provide important cooperative or comparative information and perspective, and establish a constructive dialogue between before and after PE investment. Obviously, the use of third-party advisory services and legal experts needs to be considered. And accountancy firms with skilled leadership, a culture of professionalism, and high degree of regulatory public scrutiny are perhaps best positioned for PE investment. Obviously, independence and PE has been a big hot topic, as well as conflicts of interest. So again, PE investment may impact a culture, but does not change their responsibility to act ethically with integrity, objectivity, and the public interest. We've seen that by the ISBA code. We've also seen it in the US with two proposals that have come out of PEAK, which is the Professional Ethics Executive Committee. In addition, when we look at this, firms and potential PE investors need to discuss and agree on an approach to independence and conflict management before they finalize the terms of their engagement. From an audit quality perspective, regardless of ownership, right, governance or culture must maintain a focus on the value of their brand and the accountancy profession's unique value drivers: ethics, independence, technical expertise, client focus, regulatory oversight, and public interest responsibilities, right? So PE can't override what makes our profession unique, which is that public interest. Another area they said firms who are considering PE investment should make sure that the PE investors appreciate the critical importance of high quality work, right? So that quality can't slip when we're working in these environments, right? It can't just be about cutting budget and being more efficient. And then best practices suggest firms should review and update their quality management frameworks post-PE, as you can imagine. In terms of competition and consolidation, PE investment is about scale and growth. So it seems very likely, and the data demonstrated, that there will be consolidation and fewer larger accountancy firms in the future. And then attractiveness, right? So PE investors are all not alike, right? They're unique. So we have to find the right partnership between a PE investor and a firm, right? So taking that and being aligned on culture, perspective, and growth, that's very important. And then firm leadership needs to agree on investment thesis and strategic plan before concluding a transaction with a prospective investor, including timing and strategy in a secondary sale in the future, right? So again, those are the big takeaways that they found. If you want to go the PE route, it's not something you take lightly. There's lots of things that you have to consider. So hopefully this is an interesting look at some of the data related to PE and what IFAC found as part of their data analysis. We provided a link, so if you're interested, there's a lot that goes through country data, et cetera, so that you can take a look at the data yourself and learn a little bit more about how PE is impacting the profession. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.